Hey up, me ducks. How are we doing? It's lovely to see so many people chatting. I'm so conscious now that the mic has unmuted because during the intro it's got the cross through it, but it looks like everything's fine. So let's do some hellos and welcomes before we kick off, because already 54 people here. So first one in was Celia. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. We've got Kat, and we have Ange. Nice to see you. And we have Elaine, Tarot, Tats and Tea. Heading out, so I won't be able to join you, but just wish you a safe and happy trip away next week. Thank you, Elaine. We have Ramon. How you doing, Ramon? And Alessandra. Hi, Sandra. We've got David and Chris, who's retracted a message. I think that was about the bog, watching TV in the bog. And we have, let's see, Redwing. Hello, Redwing. We have Vanessa and Barbara. Nice to see you, Barbara. Patsy's here. Hi, Patsy. And Sarah. And then Maria Francesca. Not seen you before, but hello and welcome. Nice to have you with us. Mahoret, nice to see you. Petra. And we have Jen. Hen Jen. Nice to see you. And we also have the lovely Cheryl. I was going to message you after the live, Cheryl. You would have probably have seen by now, but your package arrived today at the Bonefire, the new second edition. If anybody's not seen it yet, 'cause it only went up a couple of hours ago. Well, about 4 hours ago, I think. But it's been a mad busy day today. But I was going to message you later to let you know I'd received it because I know we was worried about whether it would come in time, and that I'd done the walkthrough. Who else have we got? We've got Nancy. Hi, Nancy and Jade. We have Kristen Louise. Hello, Kathy, and Marita, Hershey. Yeah, Chris has placed a cheeky wee order. He's like, have you got this? It's not out till January. Saskia and Trisha and Lynn, all packed up and ready for you, Chris. That's exciting. Malamia's here. Hello, Malamia. And if you didn't see the video in the week, I've still got it out. I've been having a look at it. Malamia's deck, which is the Cat Aura Tarot, arrived a couple of days ago, and there's a walkthrough. That's just the prototype deck from MPC. So do check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Sorry to hear about your vertigo. The lovely Anne is here. Hi, Anne. We've got Golden and Calla. Good morning, Satan. Good morning, Calla. Nice to see you. 24 Blue Wolves. Nice to see you too. Forever Whereafter. We've got Lynn Hayes. Did I say Nancy? If I didn't, hello, Nancy. Mystic Moggy is here. And still not happy with the pink boxes. Well, it makes a difference. It's quite the contrast from the black boxes, that's for sure. And Beth is here. Hello, Beth. So I think I've caught up with everyone. If I did miss you, apologies, because there's a lot of people here. I'll pop the chat open there as well, just in case there's anybody watching from the Facebook group, the Hermit's Cave Facebook group. There is somebody saying hello, but whoever you are, hello. You haven't linked your name, so I'm unable to see. But yeah, so if you are in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group watching this, because it streams to both platforms, and you want to be seen, just before you go in, there's an option to kind of link your name to it. And I still haven't changed this. It's still from when I did my live with Chris. You'd think I'd get on top of things, wouldn't you, by now? Gutted when they turned up, but hopefully all the new packaging will arrive on Monday. Yeah, you wanted red, didn't you, for start ready to get ready for Christmas? So I dug out my my Halloween mug that I had from last year. Can't remember if I bought a new one this year or not. I don't think I did. I bought a mug from Pendle when I went to Pendle Hill, but it's only a small mug. This is a nice hug mug. And I've got tea today. I've got I finished this morning my loose leaf spiced chai, which I'm going to get some more tomorrow because it's lovely. So I'm going to nip down to Whittard's and get some spiced chai and probably some Earl Grey. Might even take them away with me, but that means taking a strainer. Well, we'll sort it anyway. So it's just a builder's PG tips with some oat milk and sweetener. So that's what I've got. What have we all got for a cuppa tonight or today? I saw somebody saying just preparing lunch, and it always throws me off thinking lunch. Seem a little bit dark today, don't I? But that's kind of like the Samhain vibe I'm giving off. I ain't got the big light on. I've got a couple of lights, ring light and the lamp over the desk. Simon, how are your germs? Still running wild? Cal, it's I'm like 95% better, so much better. But every so often, when I'm talking a lot, and you'll probably notice it tonight, I'll do a little kind of annoying cough. And gone back to walking with my friend, walking the dogs, and I'm very out of breath very quickly, especially on hills and things. So I'm really looking forward to going up the tour next week. Just gonna have to take it steady. But yeah, other than that, everything else is fine. The pain that I had in my side when I was coughing is minimal now. But I did sneeze the other day, and I felt like I'd been shot. I wasn't prepared for that. Builder's Yorkshire tea. Yeah, I like Yorkshire tea. That's one of my favourites as well. I'm not keen on Tetley, but I do like PG Tips or Yorkshire. I bet you come back with more stuff than that, Simon. What what more stuff than that? Uh, Drinking a blackberry hint water, my usual coffee, and half with 2 sugars. Um, Mountain Dew on ice. Wow. The Mountain Dew that we have over here isn't the same as the Mountain Dew in the States. You can get it if you go to an American shop like Benson's or um, what's the one called down in Listegate? Is it Stars and Stripes? It's Stars and Stripes, something like that. But you can go in and buy American Mountain Dew. I mean, they charge you like 4 times the price, but and I know it's not good for you, but I used to really love when Coca-Cola did, or yeah, Coca-Cola did Mountain Dew in this country in the 90s. And then it went for a few years and they brought it back and it's more like an energy drink now, like a sports drink. It doesn't taste the same. Yorkshire tea needs a tour lift service. It wouldn't be the same going up in a lift though. It just wouldn't be the same. Part of the experience is climbing the tour. Sandra's out of breath too since COVID. Yeah, and everybody, because 2 people in my team have had COVID this last week. They've come into work as you do now, um, and they're blaming me. And I'm like, I didn't have COVID. I tested 3 times, and all 3 tests were negative. And then some people are saying, well, some are, but um, maybe it was COVID. I don't know, but it did. It certainly didn't show as COVID. I just felt like it was really proper flu. Um, I enjoyed watching Bonefire Second Edition. It is smaller, but I definitely like they were not too shiny. Yeah, it's a nice matte um, card size now. Um, Yorkshire tea or M&S Gold Label in our house. Oh, I've not tried M&S Gold Label. Is it nice? Second round of coffee, says Beth. It will take the meth out of the Mountain Dew. It's just no good. Is it? Yeah, I've heard it's really bad for you. It's like there used to be a drink over here, and it came from the States as well, called Sunny D. And I used to love Sunny D. And then somebody said it's like the worst possible drink you can have. I was like, why is everything that's really nice really bad? If you get your hands on some Latvian black balsam, it's very medicinal. Medicinal. So kick out. Oh, where would you get that from, Marita? Um, when you go shopping, Simon, the British economy grows by 1%. I've got to be good. So we had a little gift horse come upon us in this last week. So and I just want to, I'm going to grab it because if you haven't seen it, I do want to show, just so I can give you an example. Let me grab that. So, the cottage that we stay in Glastonbury is a minimum 3 night stay. So you can't book it for a night. It has to be a minimum 3 nights. And way back early in the year, like January, February, when I first booked it, I asked if it was available for Samhain. I knew that, it would be a miracle if it was available for Samhain because, as you can imagine, Samhain or Glastonbury, I should say, during Samhain it's going to be fantastic. And whenever there's a Sabbat on, it's really difficult to try and get any accommodation anywhere. Or if they have something like the Goddess Festival, it's really difficult. So you have to book like a year in advance for things. And he said, no, it's one of the ones that has gone really quickly. So we booked for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So having the 3 nights, traveling down on the Thursday. Well, then at the start of this week, and they're a lovely couple who own the cottage. They run it as a proper business, and they're really accommodating us. You want milk? Do you drink? So we can get you your milk in. Both Sandra and I drink oat milk, so they're getting oat milk in for us. And it's a lovely old cottage. If you've seen the vlog from last year, I did a tour of it, so you'll be able to see that. It's in the Hermit on Tour playlist on my channel. So he messaged and said, Simon, he said, we've just had a cancellation, and there's 2 extra nights available now, because it's a 3-night minimum stay. I'm thinking they probably gave one to the people that were there, before the people that are cancelled. And he said, I'm giving you first refusal because I know you originally asked for Samhain. So I got in touch with Sandra and I was like, what do you think? Now, Sandra had already booked her train tickets to come to Nottingham on Wednesday to travel with me on the Thursday. And I said, I know it's going to be, is it going to be too much of an issue? But we both really wanted to be there for Samhain. So I just sent a holding message saying, can you just hold it for me for a couple of hours? Sandra came back and said, I've been able to transfer my ticket and just pay a nominal admin fee. So we're actually now having 5 nights in Moonstone. And yeah, just really, really excited about it. So we arrive on 31st on Samhain, and we have the night time of Samhain. And there's a few things happening that we've already looked at that we're going to go and see. And yeah, all the way there till Bonfire night, Guy Fawkes night on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to it. Incidentally, and I don't know if I mentioned on the video, when I went to York last week, and that's why it feels like such a long time ago since I was sat here with you, because last week, of course, I was in York. What a weekend that was with all the floods. We saw Guy Fawkes's, we saw Dick Turpin's grave, but we saw the house that Guy Fawkes was born in, and the church that he was baptised and went to church in, which is right next door to the Minster, York Minster. So yeah, so it was great. And if you saw the vlog from last week, I mean, it's had lots of views. So thank you for everybody that's watched it and the lovely comments. I'm itching to go back. I really am. I wanted to get a ghost from the ghost merchants, and the queues were too long for it. And then by the time towards the end of the day, we thought we'll go back now. They've cut off the queue and they won't let anybody else join. So I was like, oh, I really wanted it. But yeah, and there's just so much more to do there because of the floods. It took us quite a while to get there, because I went to collect a friend. I just couldn't get through. The road was inaccessible, just completely, and anything that I tried got stuck. And there's been those pictures of that part that I tried to get through when I had to turn the car around, where you can just see this taxi sign on the roof of a car, and everything else is underwater. So I'm really glad I had the foresight to think, I'm not going to attempt that, because I'd have lost my car. But yeah, so anyway, just quickly, so first edition Bonefire came out in 2016, still available, I think, certainly until stocks last. But this is what the old cardstock was like. So it has a border. It has the title twice, because the title is part of the artwork. So you can see there, it says the 6 of Swords here, and it has it again there. So what they've done now with the second edition is, and I'm not going to find the 6 of Swords, I'll just show you a card. um, is it's now borderless. It's matte, so there is a bit of a shine, but it's it's not glossy like this. It's matte, and you've just got the image, and it's smaller, as you can see. But the artwork's pretty much the same size. So I don't know how many Cheryl's got left, but Cheryl is selling them through the Oneness Emporium, and I know it's been out a while in the States, but for us in the UK, because it's an American publisher, it's Schiffer Red Feather, we have to wait a lot longer. So it's another 3 months before it's available in the UK on places like Amazon and stuff. So do check out Oneness Emporium. Oh, let me put this back. Okay. I'm seeing my name tagged, so I'm going to look back at some comments. The cottage that you and Sandra stayed last time was beautiful. Yeah, it's the same cottage, so we decided to go back. And I think it's pretty central. I know, Sandra, you were saying you wished it was a little bit closer to the high street. But if you go into places like the Chalice Well and the Abbey, because it's basically the garden backs onto the Abbey grounds, or the far end of the high street or the Tor, then it's really close to that. It's, for me, I think it took me 7 minutes to walk to the high street. I had to nip back one day for something. Oh, it was to get my Athame. That's cool. I like the smaller borderless version. Yeah, it's really nice. First batch sold out yesterday, so Red Feather Express shipped me some to me, and they arrived this morning. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I'd imagine these ones are going to go sell like hotcakes, or because it's a popular deck, isn't it? I'm on a tarot buy-in fast at the moment, says David. I splurged a couple of months ago, and now I feel a little skinned. Yeah, I have bought a deck. I don't know whether I've got it here. I didn't know whether to show it, or do a separate video, but I'm running out of time. And it's one that I saw on Candy's channel, Candy Soul and Soil. And I've not even opened it yet. It's still in the cellophane, and it's Tarot Landscapes. And it's a really reasonably priced deck. I think it's about £16. But I don't know. Let me know if you want to see it. We can have a look at it, or we can just have a bit of a chat, and I'll do a separate video. So yeah, so Glastonbury. Sandra arrives Monday, and we're travelling down early. Drilling that in, Sandra, early, because I like to get up really early, have a shower, get ready, load the car, and go. Because it can be, last year, I think it was 4.5 hours it took me to get there, something like that, or 4 hours. But I like to arrive and feel like I still got the day there, rather than just like late afternoon or something. I saw it on Candy's channel. It's really beautiful. I think that the new Bonefire does look gorgeous. I love it being matte, but I definitely prefer borders, especially on busier decks. I like it to feel contained, so I'm not sure. That's interesting too, because a lot of people often say that they prefer it to the artwork to kind of be freed from borders, whereas you like it contained. Full moon lunar eclipse tonight. Oh wow! Clocks go back tonight in the UK as well. So I think we're late this time, are we? I mean, mine all do it automatic. So I've got an Apple Watch, my clock radio. I always ask Alexa what time it is, so it's not like I have got a clock in the kitchen that has to change, but I seldom look at that. I mean, if I'm in the kitchen, I'll look at it, see what the time is. But when you wear a watch and everything, you don't really look at clocks. All right, Simon, I know. I bet it'll be earlier than that, Patsy. Yeah, normally about 6:30 set off. I know I'll get up at probably about 5 and shower, or 5:30 at the latest. Uh, but last year set off about 6:30, I think it was. I got there about 11ish. Um, so Jelly, take it all in and remember to unplug and make the most of the memories, Kristen. Always Kristen off. I missed that. Yes, I'm excited. Venice, Florence, Rome, and Pompeii. Wow. Oh, wow. November the 5th, the clock's in the UK, so next Sunday. So we'll be an hour closer to you for a week because our clocks go back. So, yeah. I was going to say, so next week on Cuppa Catch Up and Cards, remember that it will be 6 p.m. but there won't be one because I'm in Glastonbury. Yeah, and on the Saturday, we've got the lovely Giselle and Keith joining us. So, really looking forward to that as well. We change on November the 5th too. Hello, Brian. Nice to see you. Don't worry about being late. I'm pack the car the night before person, then get on the road super early, miss the rush hour. Yeah, exactly. That's how I am. That's fine, to Sandra. Just 2 words. That's fine. I don't think Sandra's a morning person. Our clocks don't go back or forward in Arizona. We stay the same all year round. Yeah, well, we've in the UK, they've been making that argument for about 30 years about stopping it, and they never have. I get the arguments for and against, really, but I think with modern technology and lighting and stuff that we have now, I think it's outdated. But people say, "Oh, wouldn't it be great to have British summer time all year round?" It wouldn't. It wouldn't. It would be Greenwich Mean Time all year round because that's the way the clocks of the world. And this is fascinating, and I never knew this till recently. So, and this sounds really arrogant because it's crazy when you think about it. But if you imagine the atlas, as in flat, that we see on posters in schools and everything, Great Britain, is in the center of the world. Um, both in terms of height and width. We're bang in the center. If you was to draw a cross, we're bang in the center. And that was deliberate because all of the world's clocks are set by Greenwich Mean Time. So GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, starts with 0 because it's the central part in the world. And then everything that goes to the west is -1, -2, -3, -4. Till you get to like Eastern, where it's -5, and then all the time zones through the States. Whereas anything east of Greenwich Mean Time goes +1, +2, +3, +4, etc. And that's the longitude, latitude kind of grid of the world. And the reason why that was done is due to history, because at the time, the whole rule Britannia, uh, uh, Britannia rules the waves, because of the British Empire at the time, and because we sent most ships out, and biggest maritime and all that kind of stuff, it was agreed that Great Britain should be the centre of the world. But that's just a group of people standing around and agreeing it. When you think, and it blows my mind because I always see the world that way, but when you think that actually the US and Russia are literally something, what is it? 30-something miles apart, the US and Russia, that they're actually neighbours, just by looking at the world from a different perspective. It's it just yeah, it really kind of blows my mind. But it's all man-made, you know. Time itself is a man-made concept, isn't it? Obviously, we have time, as in day and night, and our journey around the sun. But you know, the whole seconds, minutes, and hours, and everything is it's all man-made, and particularly when you think of the time zones. God, that was a bit of a going down a rabbit hole, wasn't it? See if I've missed any comments. You still get an extra hour as clocks go back, so win. Yeah, exactly. I overslept this morning because my alarm went off, and in the week my alarm goes off at 5:30. Sometimes I'll press the snooze button a couple of times, and it went off this morning, and I need to get up straight away, shower, and get off to my friends to walk the dogs. I pressed the snooze button twice, and then the clock radio was on, and I thought, why is Tony Blackburn on in the week? And then I shot up. I was like, oh shit, it's a weekend. I had to text my friend saying, I'm about 20 minutes late. Fine. I got a Sandra response. That's fine. I'm not a morning person either, says Calla. I'm a bit different when travelling. I can get up when I need to, says Sandra. We did away with it, but it hasn't gone away. But it hasn't gone away, even though you did away with it. If I had a choice between bordered and borderless, I always gravitate towards and choose bordered. They act like a portal, but definitely understand the appeal of borderless. Yeah, you see, I was always a borderless person, and in the main, I still am. However, when it comes to RWS, as in a traditional RWS, it's Pixie's artwork, I want borders. I couldn't get on with the borderless version. So for me, because it's an historic deck, I want the borders there because they should have them there. Do you know what I mean? But new decks and things, I love it when they're borderless. Trying to remember who is creating it. Simon reviewed the prototype a couple of days ago. That Malamir's deck that you're talking about, which is the Aura Cat Tarot. This one. Malamir, who's in chat, so she might be listening because she's struggling with her vertigo at the moment. But if that's the one that you're on about, it was John Harrison who calculated longitude. Rolf, I read that, and I wish this would come to an end. I was like, I've only been on 29 minutes. And then I realised she was on about the changing time. Bloody hell, our clocks just changed recently, and I had to work out what time you'd be on so I wouldn't miss you. Now I've got to do it all again. Yeah, but you'll be back in the time zone because it'll be 2 weeks when I'm next here with being away. The clocks are all to do with milking cows in Scotland. Yeah, for us it's about farming and agriculture. But I have seen on live videos like I'm gonna say TikTok. I don't even have TikTok. You know, like Facebook videos and YouTube and Instagram. There was some farmers on saying, actually, look, we've got these huge kind of floodlights. It doesn't matter. We don't need to take the clocks back anymore. You know, we live in a modern world now. Hi, Britcon. Nice to see you. Sarah Palin can see Russia from her house. Cough, cough. Yeah. But, you know, you just, when you think about, and I can always remember 1983 was settling. 1983 was a really troubling time. I can remember Christmas of 1983 and living under the threat of a nuclear war. everything in the charts, like Two Tribes. And then there was a program on TV called Threads, which was set in Sheffield. Then the Americans did a film called The Day After Tomorrow, and all the news and everything was about the imminent nuclear war. And I was terrified as a 13-year-old, as you would be. And I can remember, I think it was my stepdad saying, "It's all right, America and Russia, threatening to send missiles to each other. We're right in the blooming middle of them." So in my mind, and thinking of the map of the world, the atlas, yeah, we're right in the middle. But actually, they wouldn't do it that way, would they? Why would you go the longest way around when America and Russia are neighbours? But it wasn't until recently that sort of dawned on me because of how we're always presented with the map of the world. And of course, I knew that it came back round, but I just didn't really give it that thought. Um, so yeah, if that was to happen, they wouldn't go from east to west, would they? So east to west or west to east. I don't want to be biased, but yeah, weird how that it's so close, but how we decide to depict the world. I bet you do that on Tuesday, Simon. But I do what on Tuesday? Bet you don't do that on Tuesday, Simon. What, press the 10-minute snooze? I bet I don't. Need to make sure. Well, tomorrow, because my alarm will go off again at 5:30 tomorrow to go and walk the dogs. It will be an extra hour, so really it'll be 6:30. So I'll be a bit of a lie-in. I like border cards too, says Kay. Hello, Kay, by the way. Did Pamela design it with borders, or was that just the publisher? That's a good point. I'd imagine it's the publisher decided, but I think everything would have been bordered back then. For me, borders depend on the particular deck. I might have to splurge on Malamira's deck, despite our trip to Italy approaching. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful deck, Kristen. It was a great book, and that's where I remembered it from. Not sure what that is. That movie, Threads, traumatized me. I was only 14. I've got it on DVD. Just because, not because I want to sit and watch it, because it is really traumatic, but I collect. In fact, I'll show you what I got this week. If you're in the UK and you're a certain age, you might recall this. Bear with. Being as it's Samhain and Halloween season, who remembers Lizzie Dripping? So I bought this. It's 2 discs. One disc is in the DVD player. But this is my first ever memory of a witch. And I think I mentioned this when I was interviewed years ago by Owen Lynch. She says, "What was your first kind of memory of a witch?" And it's always Lizzie Dripping. Now, it says that it was only one series, and it ran from 1973 to 1975. So, and it finished in March of 1975. Well, I'd only been 4 years of age, but I can remember my sister loved it. And all I remember, and I haven't got to that episode yet, was she went on holiday to the seaside and the witch appeared on the beach, but nobody else could see her. But yeah, Lizzie Dripping, so good. I've watched the first, I think, 4 episodes on disc 1. Anyway, so yeah, to say that I buy things that I remember from like my childhood, like Hammer House of Horror. I love things like Twilight Zone, Lizzie Dripping. So if there's things that from when I was a kid, I'll often get them. Don't talk to me about Threads. I recently rewatched it on YouTube and it still frightened the shit out of me. Yes, Cecilia, do you remember the scene with the milk bottle? That's the scene that always sticks in my mind. There's a milk bottle by a doorstep and it just turns to liquid. Ugh, I won't watch Threads, too frightening and upsetting. I remember the scariness of the Cold War. Yeah, it was an awful time, wasn't it? Britain's resilience on sea power meant that they needed accurate movement of ships, so they established the GMT to coordinate locations and times. Yeah, that's right. Um, oh, Beth, you've got the good tarot. Uh, the movie The Day After Tomorrow is bad enough, but I found Threads much worse. I think it was the realism, the grittiness of Threads, and because it was set in Sheffield, that's only like 45 minutes from here, just up the motorway. It's a very close city tour, so it was like, oh, this is set in Sheffield. Um, I just watched your Unicorn Tarot this morning. Cool deck. I had a hard time making out Ten of Swords as well. My unicorn is Black Violet Deluxe. Do you have it? No. What's Black Violet Deluxe? I've never heard of Lizzie Dripping. You see, it was a British thing. And do you know what? I didn't realise till the other day, but her mom in this, in the first episode, she says to her daughter, "Nip to the shop for us, duck." I thought, duck? Must have been filmed around here. So I did some research. It's filmed in Nottinghamshire. I was like, oh wow, I never knew that as a kid. Heard of dropping, Lizzie Dripping, but never watched it. Yeah, well, Lizzie Dripping isn't her actual name because Lizzie Dripping is a local to this area. What you call, or what people used to call young girls who were a bit of a fantasist, a bit of a daydreamer, or would make up stories and be like, oh, come on, Lizzie Dripping. Because my sister remembers my mum calling her Lizzie Dripping once. And then a friend of mine said, oh, my grandma always used to call me Lizzie Dripping. So her name's actually Penelope Arbuckle, but they call her Lizzie Dripping because it's a colloquialism, really. I have all the Monty Python and Fawlty Towers. Twilight Zone, I love that series. I do too. So good. Children of the Stones, yeah, I do. Rent a Ghost, yeah. There were some great ones, wasn't it? My first memory of a witch on TV is The Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. That's probably my second one. Lizzie Dripping was the first, and then Wizard of Oz. I remember Catweasel on Swedish TV, 1970. Wasn't Catweasel the Crowman in Wurzel Gummidge? John Pertwee was Doctor Who, then went into Wurzel Gummidge, and I think what was his name? Was it the Crowman? The guy who made Wurzel Gummidge, I think he played Catweasel. God, the memories. Outer Limits, Twilight Zone was better. It really was. Have you seen Twilight Zone, the movie? Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Don't mention the war. That was Fawlty Towers, wasn't it? Yeah. If anybody wants me, I'll be in the lounge. If anybody wants you, anyone in particular, Henry Kissinger, just a man with a big net. Rent a Ghost. If your mansion house needs haunting, just call Rent a Ghost. Loved it. And there was a program called The Ghosts of Montreal. Obviously, it must have been Canadian, but The Ghosts of Montreal, that was a program that was on in the 70s. Of course, our spooky show in the UK was Tales of the Unexpected, and then the Hammer House of Horror, the house that bled to death. Do you know, to this day, I've never watched Wizard of Oz. Nancy, how do you get through life not having watched The Wizard of Oz at least once? I loved Catweasel. They don't make TV like they used to. Same here, Simon, with The Wizard of Oz, which, yeah, it's not too late. You should give it a whirl. Yes, Crowman played Catweasel. Thought so. Is it funny what sticks in the old grey matter? Yes, generally like the Twilight Zone movie. Yeah, it was like 4 in 1, wasn't it? 4 different stories in one. Do you want to see something really scary? And then now at the end, where he's on that plane and there's that gremlin trying to smash the engines and the wing of the plane, and he gets into the ambulance, and the ambulance driver turns around. Do you want to see something really scary? Takes you right back to the beginning. Oh, is it Motley Hall? The Ghosts of Motley Hall. Is that what it was? I always thought it was Montreal, as in, I never knew that. Motley Hall. Right. And she says, do you mean the Ghosts of Motley Hall? I must have done. Like I say, it was the 70s and a long time ago, but I always thought it was Montreal. I used to love Tales of the Unexpected. I've not seen Wizard of Oz either. Wow. Samantha, Bewitched. Oh, Bewitched. Yeah, that was another one. Hi, Raven Song. Banana Splits. Tra la 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 la. Oh, I'll get a copyright strike if I keep singing. The Wizard of Oz was Christmas staple of kids in the 70s. Yeah, we used to scour the TV Times Christmas edition to look for it, or Radio Times. You had to buy them separate then. They didn't come in one magazine. That and Oliver, because that's my favourite musical. Loved it. It was on Boxing Day last year, Oliver. We watched it at my sister's. The Ghost of Mrs. Muir. I think Angelique, the actress who played her, has just died recently, like last week. Who was that? Angelique? Oh, Dark Shadows. I don't know that one. Yeah. Wow. So, obviously, it's almost Samhain. So, I've got my altar card out. These are the backs on them. So, I change my altar card for each of the Sabbath, and I've got the Sabbath wheel, so my crystal moves around the wheel of the year. So it says, the leaves fall thick, the veil grows thin. It's time for a new cycle to begin. Some have quite a few words and some have just a few. I love the design at the bottom. Look how beautiful that is. So that's going out on my altar. What's people's plans for Samhain? What are you? Do you do any rituals? If so, what do you do? By the way, do you like? I think I showed it. It was on the York video, but that's Demdike, my Pendle witch. Absolutely love her. Let's have a look. The double-decker bus. I remember the double-deckers. Do you remember the double-deckers? The only episode of Fright Night, we never got Fright Night, but I think there was a film called Fright Night. But do you really think that the veil grows thin? Yeah, I do. There's just something in the air at Samhain at this time of year, and I know people could argue, well, it's because the nights are drawing in, or sometimes the clocks have already gone back. But there's just a feeling around Samhain. There's a stillness, and I live in the city, but there's like a stillness and a calm. And when I get home, because this will be the first time when I won't be at home, but I always light the candles. I light some incense. I think about my loved ones who have passed, and I do feel a closeness to them. I like to light up my altar, but yeah, there's something about Samhain for me that there's a very peaceful energy to it. I don't know what anybody else thinks. What deck is that, Simon? Deck? Oh no, it's not a deck. It's some alt cards. I bought them on Etsy a couple of years ago. It's just 8 alt cards, um, and you just swap them up to put on your altar. Got a little stand it sits on. Nothing planned, says David. The Pendle Witch is fantastic. She's lovely, isn't she? Trouble is, I'm going to end up wanting to buy them all, and I can't. I can't. Just noticed your Scully, Simon. So pretty. Yeah, these were from a set of 3 from TK Maxx. They're really nice as well. Beautifully painted, and they're quite heavy and solid. They're not, you can hear the solid. They're not hollow or anything. So there's like a 2-tone blue one. Then there's this pinky purple one. And then there's this black and grey one. I really like them. I used to have a skull, but it was a candle, and it got too close to another candle, and it went a little bit sort of. So I decided to replace them. Opening the front door to all the trick-or-treaters, Simon. With living where I do, it's non-stop from 4 till 9. Yeah, see, I don't get that now. I used to where I used to live. I lived on an estate, so it was very busy, but no one can get in this building. So we never get trick-or-treaters, we never get carol singers or anything like that. The plus side is we also don't get Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons knocking on the door. So the only people that come in here is the postie. My Samhain is 2 nights. My ritual on Halloween night, honouring my ancestors on November the 1st, says Nancy. Samhain is a special time of the year. It's the old New Year. It is. It is. It's where the wheel starts turning again. The pagan New Year, or the witch's New Year, however you want to view it. Hello, Deanne. Nice to see you. Samhain is my favourite spoke of the wheel of the year. Max is going to be dressed as Link from Zelda. Vela will be Ladybug. It's going to look so cute. And she will stay home and hand out candy with me. Oh, it's such a big event, isn't it, in the States? More so than it is here. It's really caught on in the last 30 to 40 years in the UK. But it's a big event. But the thing is, over here, you would only dress up as a ghoul, a monster, a witch, something scary. Where, if I'm not mistaken, in the States, you can dress up as anything. You could, you could be like Princess Leia from Star Wars, or whereas we wouldn't do that here. It's All Hallows Eve, so it's always, like a zombie or something macabre, to do with, witches or demons, that sort of thing. Sandra likes the black and grey one. Patsy has 4 Pendle Witches so far, 2 that hang and 2 that stand. Wow. Have you got Demdike? It's the time of year when society as a whole stops and considers those that have passed. Even though commercial Halloween has taken over, there's still that sense of what has been lost. Of course, for Trisha, it's Beltane. Normally, I'm on top of doing a ritual, but this year I've had a shadow creeping up on me, so I'll probably just do Beltane Tarot spread and give an offering. So I wanted to ask about that. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, obviously it's Beltane. I get that, but is it Halloween still? Is Halloween still October the 31st? Like Yule is still Yule is in summer, uh, but Christmas is still December the 25th. So that would really blow my mind if it's Beltane but Halloween rather than Samhain and Halloween. Uh, I wish kids in Britain would go back to making leafy lanterns instead of pumpkins. Hello, Ink Witch Girl. Nice to see you. Uh, the witch is wonderful. Thank you, Golden. I wish I'd got trick or treated at my old address. We got 200 kids strong. Wow. Um, you can dress as anything. Doesn't have to be scary. I do hate the hooker costumes a lot of the older young people wear to parties. The hooker costumes? No, don't have that one, Simon, but she's cool. You'll have to show them on a video. I'd love to see. I do remember. Is it like you've got some on your dresser, hanging on your dresser? In my mind's eye, I can see them now. Whether that's when I came to your house and had a cuppa, Patsy, and I remember seeing them, or if I've seen them in old videos. I'm sure you hung some from like your dresser. Um, I like making pumpkins. Right, so interesting to think about everyone else's normal with holidays and such. It really is, isn't it? Um, hooker costumes, do people still do that? What's a hooker costume? When I lived in, I can't pronounce that, Pitlochry, I spent Samhain. Oh, it's jumped. Where was it? I've lost it. Oh, there it is, Samhain. At, oh, you're really testing me now, aren't you? I can't read any of that, Red Wing. I'm not going to attempt to because I'll butcher it. Uh, I like Sexy Nurse. See, we just wouldn't do that at Halloween here. It's ghouls and ghosts and witches and demons and uh, hooker is a rude word for sex worker. Yeah, but I was like, what's a hooker costume? What does a hooker dress like? I just thought they dressed normal. Um, I went to Casacadaga, Casa Daga, Florida last night, which is a small spiritual town that has the most tarot readers in the US, along with witchcraft. I need to go. Love going there anytime, but Halloween is special. I know. I can't wait. And I'll vlog. Of course, I will vlog. I do a vlog every time I go to Glastonbury, but because we're there for Samhain, there'll be a Glastonbury vlog to look forward to next week. Sexy nurse, sexy cop, sexy whatever. Oh, you're all obsessed with sex. I'm sat here munching my way through all the Halloween sweets I brought for trick or treaters. Apparently, I have no self control and can't be stopped. That's why I can't have them in. Um, no, no, I don't like it. Uh, what was that? I say like too much. Don't mind me. Casadega, Casadega, Casadega. Now you say it like that, I think, or put it like that. It sounds familiar. Hello, Karina. Halloween costumes when I was a kid consisted of a bin bag and your mum's makeup. I can tell you're in the UK, Cheryl. Yeah, put on a bin bag, tie it around your waist. You're a witch. Off you go. You can see the hooker where I can't speak, juxtaposed with scary wear in the film Mean Girls. I haven't seen Mean Girls. Is that the one with Lindsay Lohan? I've not seen Mean Girls for 20 years. easily. Why was Mean Girls mentioned recently? Oh, this morning, the Bonefire Tarot. Um, Simon, if you ever come to Orlando, I will take you to Casadega. It's beyond amazing. It sounds it. Um, the two hanging ones in my kitchen window, Simon, and on some videos you can see them. Right. So they're not on your dresser. Don't know why I thought those on your dresser. Um, I don't believe for a second that you've never dressed as a sexy nurse for Halloween, Simon. Yeah, because I'm the epitome of a sexy nurse, aren't I? Uh, I can't remember that. I hate fancy dress. I mentioned this before. I hate it. I don't know why, and I'm not a killjoy because that can be fun, but it's like forced humor. I just really hate fancy. And if somebody says, "Oh, I'm having a party," and I'm like, "Yeah, look, it's fancy dress," I'm like, "How can I get out of this?" And my friend Sue, she's no longer with us, but when she turned 60, it was Sue's silly 60th, and you had to go in fancy dress with something that began with an S, and there was like a Scouser, so dressed like a Scouser, and there was things like Superman and all different people dressed as an S. So I just turned up as myself. So when I've come as Simon, didn't get out well. The hobo was the easiest costume with a bunch of old clothes and some face makeup. Can you remember talking of old programs? Can you remember the Littlest Hobo? I love that program. Uh, I hope Lindsay Lohan is doing okay these days. Looking forward so much to your Glastonbury vlog, Simon. You always make it feel like I'm there with you. Oh, I'm glad that's my intention, Barbara. So I'm glad it comes across like that. Is that what you're doing in Glastonbury, Simon? Sexy nurse? Hell will freeze over before I walk down the Glastonbury High Street dressed as a sexy nurse. There is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But yeah, that's probably the last time, and that's not fancy dress, that was a costume, but probably the last time I dressed as anything sexy. Slap on some tight PVC wear and you're good to go. Oh gosh, I want to subject people to it. Saskia says, it's okay, Simon. I hate fancy dress too. I'm not alone. And people would say to me, oh, you're miserable, but I'm not. I really don't like forced situations. And yeah, I just don't like it. I have a real aversion to it. So you call costumes fancy dress? Yeah, just call it fancy dress here. We have fancy dress shops, and you can go and hire fancy dress outfits and things. I hear fancy dress and I think tux. Yeah, costumes are fancy dress here. Um, I wonder why it's called fancy dress. Because yeah, you would think fancy is like your finery, wouldn't you? Like a tux or a ball gown or something like that. It's fancy dress, but fancy dress just means funny costumes. I just saw a pic today from when I got side bangs fringe, so I could probably be Vanellope Von. What are you all doing to me? Are you putting things so that I'll struggle to pronounce them? At the local pub that Dad goes to there in UK, they do fancy dress every New Year's Eve. Yeah, that's become a thing. I noticed that living in the city, New Year's Eve, everybody's dressed up in fancy dress, and I'm like, why? I'd love to go to Lilydale, New York, a very famous town of psychics. I'm in Canada, only a few hours from Lilydale over the border. I've never been. Get yourself there, Kay. Do a day trip. I don't mind fancy dress on Halloween, but it's unacceptable for me at any other time. It's just unacceptable, full stop. Should be banned, should be outlawed. Going to host a Samhain circle this year. It's been a long time since my coven has gotten together. That'll be cool. The one about the German Shepherd. Is it a German Shepherd, the littlest hobo? Maybe tomorrow. I keep singing. Mustn't. When I was 9, I went to Halloween fancy dress school disco dressed as Hilda Ogden of Corrie, comprising of my nan's tabard, hair curlers, and carrying a mop. For those of you who don't know who Hilda Ogden is, she was an old Coronation Street character, very much a Mrs. Mop type character, and a gossip, you know. Simon, please do an extra vlog at Glastonbury, an extra one. Oh, an extra long one. I think last year's was an hour and a half, and that was 3 days we were there. We're there, and we're going to Avebury again because Giselle's never ever been to Avebury. So we're going to Avebury this time next week on the Saturday. But yeah, I had got a feeling it probably will be a long vlog. I need to make sure I've got enough space on my phone for it. I don't do fancy dress either. Yuck, says Ange. I hate New Year's parties. New Year's Eve is always very bittersweet for me. It's like, again, it feels forced because, you know, we're at Samhain, aren't we? And in the UK, we've got Guy Fawkes Night next weekend, and then everything focuses on Christmas. So people say, "Oh, it's only 6 weeks till Christmas, 3 weeks till Christmas. Christmas is next week." Nobody ever says, "Oh, 7 weeks till New Year. 3 weeks till New Year." It's all about Christmas, and then Christmas you spend loads of money. You have all these celebrations and traditions, and then Christmas is done, and you're flat. And then people say, "Oh, well, we've got New Year next week." And it's just like the poor relation. And it's only 1 week after. And then everybody gets together, and it's sad because even the song that we sing over here, which is tradition, is Auld Lang Syne, should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. And you just think it's a really sad. I always feel really melancholy is the word. It's like, but then, up in Scotland, it's a huge deal. Hogmanay is a huge deal. But here it's just kind of like the poor relation to Christmas, and everybody again is forcing let's hope that the next year is going to be brilliant. I wonder what the next year is going to bring. Ching chin. And if you've had a really difficult year as well, it can be tough. Or if there's some uncertainty coming up in the year ahead. I don't know. I don't like it. I go to my friends because it's become a tradition, and we see the new year in. But I don't go out anymore. I haven't been out since probably for New Year's Eve since my late 20s. I just can kind of do stuff with friends at home or their house and that sort of thing. But yeah, I really don't like New Year, but I pretend that I do. The littlest hobo was a husky type dog that can't watch it as it makes me cry. Yeah, he just at the end of the episode is off on his next. It just hasn't got anybody, has he? Off on its next adventure. Simon, shall I email you some hidden sites for Glastonbury? You must go inside the White Spring. Yeah, I do want to do the White Spring this year. I won't be getting naked. People can be spared that. But I do want to go in and experience it because I've been to Glastonbury, 4 or 5 times now? 4 times. This will be my 5th, and I've never been in the White Spring. And I want to go back in the Abbey grounds as well and find King Arthur's grave. And then Sandra and I are going to go and find a hidden well that she'd heard about, and we're going to go and try and find Gog and Magog because I've never seen Gog and Magog as well, which is 2 ancient trees. One of them's died, unfortunately. Someone did a ritual underneath and left a lit candle, and the tree went up. New Year's Eve makes me so sad. Yeah. Next day, he came back with his dog. You what, Chris? What have I missed? German Shepherd. I looked out and saw a German Shepherd shitting in my garden. What, just as we were talking about it? Uh, You've been alive in the early 90s, spiritualism. Yeah, can you imagine? I'm a night owl, so I'm always awake on New Year's Eve, but I don't do more than a nice dinner and some lovely bubbly. Last time I had to do fancy dress was New Year's Eve, 1989. I worked in a pub. I swore never again. You've got to tell us, Ange, what you dressed as and why it's been so traumatic for you and you've never done it since. Not been to the hen shop. Or the hen shop in Avebury is amazing. It's a really long shop. Again, there's a full, because we got permission when I went with Dan, which is on the Hermit on Tour from 2018 in the playlist. It will say something like Avebury, Glastonbury, and Stonehenge, I think. And when we went in the hen shop, which was the first time, we asked permission if I could film, and I said I'll show it on the channel, and they allowed us to film the whole shop. So there's a video up on the playlist. That was because Christmas was banned in 1614 Scotland. It only became a public holiday in 1958. Wow. David, are you a historian? You've got so much information that you're imparting. My new best New Year's Eve is wearing PJs all day with a really good book. Not go out at all, probably because I'm in Montreal. Talking of which, it's usually frigging cold. That sounds like a perfect New Year's Eve, though. PJs all day and a book. New Year, same shite. Lily. I won't be getting naked. You're not getting naked either, Sandra. Gog and Magog are fenced in now, so you can't touch them anymore. But they're still wonderful to visit. Yeah, I really want to see them. I always make scouse with a pastry lid every New Year's Eve. There'd be an uproar in my family if I didn't, but I don't go out anyway. I said scouse, but I think it's pronounced scouse, isn't it? The stew version. But it's where the slang scouse comes from, or scouser. Silly joke, Simon. You need to read the message is in order. What am I missing? Yeah. Was that about the dog? The jump. But you hadn't sent one before that about a German Shepherd. I love a good dad joke. Our pretty little candles are still fire, for heaven's sake. People have no sense. Yeah, exactly. And a beautiful tree like that. You will love the White Well, Simon. It's very pagan and atmospheric. Yeah, as long as I don't have to take my clothes off, because I know people do get naked in there, don't they? Bathe in the springs. Maybe not in November, though, so I might be spared that. Scouse tradition, I always make it for bonfire night as well. Do you know what I really love? And I can't really have it now, but I love proper bonfire toffee. Oh, even the lozenge versions. That taste of bonfire toffee, that treacly taste. Oh, it's heaven. That's what I used to love as a kid about bonfire night. And my dad used to bake it and smash it up with a hammer, put it in a bag, and then we'd go to a display and he'd hand out pieces of bonfire toffee. Oh, beautiful. Do you have a list of things you want to buy in Glastonbury? Not really. I do want to get the moon goddess to go with the sun goddess that I got last year for my sacred space. It doesn't feel balanced at the moment. So that's from Sons of Asgard. I want to get some of their incense for the Sabbats. So they've got some Sabbat incense. And I want to get the Florida water that they've got. Other than that, No, and I've got to be careful because even though we've got 2 extra days, that's 2 extra days of kind of spending money. So and neither Sandra and I thought about that. We're so excited to get the opportunity. Was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do it." And we paid for the extra nights, and then we're like, "Hold on a minute, we gotta make spending money last or stretch." Um, People do get in the White Spring naked. Yeah, I know. Simon, your witch behind you looks like she's reading the comments too. There you go, Demdike. What are they saying? I have always loved Hogmanay and the bells. My husband doesn't like it though. So do you not find it kind of bittersweet? I suppose because it's a big event there. In some ways, it's bigger than Christmas, isn't it? Well, that's what I've heard. In Scotland, it's kind of bigger than Christmas. Completely opposite way here. There are some seats on the left when you get inside the White Spring. I hope it's open. I'd imagine it would be at some point, but if it's just like the Saturday, we're in Avebury, but hope so. The toffee is to keep the kids quiet. Shorter growing stalkers, can't you just wear a swimsuit? I don't own a swimsuit. Are you talking to Sandra? Um, Let me look it up. Not heard of it either, and I'm a holy well nut. It's one called St. Edmund's Well. Apparently, not a lot of people know of it. Yeah, you sent me a picture of it, didn't you, Sandra? Um, have you broken your triple moon mug? No, it's in the kitchen cupboard. I looked then to where it was. No, I haven't. I should dig it out, shouldn't I? No, it's in the kitchen cupboard. The White Spring has a website with the opening times. Yeah, but it's not always right because a couple of years ago we went and it said it was open. It was a Sunday and it said the opening times and everything. We went and it was closed. Um, and then we went back and then Richie went a bit later and it was open again, but the times didn't tally or anything. Looking forward to seeing your vlog as I always enjoy them. Never been to Glastonbury, but always wanted to. You might get there one day, Patsy, hopefully. Shall we have a card pull? I thought what I might do is pull a card from the Hello, which is a Halloween deck. And then we could also, if we wanted to, pull a Samhain, Season of the Witch Samhain Oracle card as well. So, I love it. I love being surrounded by friends and or family with a drink in hand and counting down the bells together. Yeah. And it's nice. I do like, for me, Christmas was always about family, and New Year was about friends. Because my mum really didn't like New Year. She didn't even stay up for it. She would just go to bed. She really didn't like it. And maybe it's rubbed off from that as well. But Simon, did I miss the review of the Bonefire? Overall, what did you think? Yes, it's up on my channel. I filmed it this morning when it arrived. I like it. I really do like it. I think they've done a good job. Cardstock is lovely. The matte finish is nice. I like that it's borderless because the one thing that I kind of struggled with the original, not only the heavy set gloss, but the fact that the title is there twice because it's part of the artwork and in the border. So the colours aren't as saturated. Some people might like that, but I noticed that more in the majors rather than the minors. Look at the edging on there. How beautiful that is, that pumpkin. I'm like your mum, I go to bed. My mum goes to bed too. Yeah, I wouldn't be bothered. If my mate said to me, can we not do New Year this year? I might go to bed. I did a live when it was lockdown and we weren't allowed to do anything in 2020, going into 21. I did a live and invited a few friends on, and we saw the new year in together on this channel. Don't know if anybody remembers that. New Year's about getting totally drunk in Scotland. That's it. That's our contribution to the Wheel of the Year. All right. Oh, my significator card. We got the Page of Cups. There's some words there as well, isn't there? Spectral child ghost. Okay, so a message for this week is a really creepy image for you to focus on. Trust your intuition, really. That's what I would say this week, particularly if you've been having, how can I put it, like creative ideas. This is often seen as like, the start of something that's been building from dreams as well. The page is often seen as a daydreamer. Tell me about it. But you know what? It's as Frankenfurt would say, don't dream it, be it. Everything starts with that thought, everything starts with the imagination. And sometimes we can say to ourselves, well, do you know what? That's just my fantasy. That's just my daydreams. When I daydream, I think about this. But wouldn't it be wonderful if we could turn some of our daydreams into realities? Yeah. So, trust your intuition when you're going forward this week. And if you've got some dreams, be imaginative. The more imaginative, the better. But if you want to bring them into reality, know that actually, unless it's something really obscure, but even things that can obscure, you might not achieve what your daydream is, but you'll have fun along the way getting there. And who knows what's going to manifest at the end of it. Well, New Year on your channel would be 7 p.m. here, so I could manage it. All right, so let's see if we've got an oracle message we can get from Seasons of the Witch, Samhain. I think this one's red edged from memory. Yeah, we've got black and red. Oh, look at that image. Banshee. We might get her. No, I went Railway Cat. We went up the front last year of the tour. You must have missed it. Sandra and I decided to take the plunge and go up the front. And, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be if you take it steady. And Sandra said she preferred it because going the back way, you're going up a gradual road for quite a bit to get to the back of it anyway. So you may as well just, start off and work your way up. Okay. Oracle messages. Oh, we have silence. That's interesting, actually, because it was, what was I saying earlier about Calla asked if the veil really does get thin or thinner at Samhain, and I said there's just a peacefulness, a calmness, and I like to on Samhain just sit, light a candle, light incense, and just sit in silence. It's a very personal thing, and I think a lot of people fear silence, and it's like when you get a really good friend. There's no uncomfortable silences. And sometimes, we just feel like we have to create noise or be talking all the while. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, why do we fear silence? And I think when we just sit, and I've just lost connection. Let me just see. Oh, am I there? That was really weird. I just my screen just disappeared, and all I got was my wallpaper. But I'm here. I had to click the internet button, and it come back on. Yeah, but sometimes when we fear silence because we then have to have that time on our own, you know. And when we're in silence, it's when our internal dialogue starts. And as you all know, I mention it a lot, but you'll know anyway from background noise and things when I'm filming videos, there's always sirens and things. And I live in the city. Tonight's a Saturday night, it's going to be very noisy later. But I find that when I take myself out of the city and I go into woodlands or I go into villages or the countryside, like the Derbyshire Dales or something, and there's that silence, that's when I feel the most present. And we can feel present anywhere because we can be in a crowded coffee shop with lots of noise and chatter and music playing, but we can still be really grounded and be present in the moment. But for me, I find I'm most present when I've got silence because that's when you can slow everything down and you can really process your thoughts without any stimulation. Um, yeah, I haven't even read the message of the card. I just went into that. So it says silence. There is a sweet embrace in the nothingness. Stillness brings a presence of self fully embodied. Well, I'm in sync because I think that's in essence what I was trying to say really. Um, don't fear silence. Embrace it and just listen. Listen, go inwards and listen to the internal dialogue that's happening. It will reveal a lot about what's really going on. And when we know what's really going on, it's then that we can process, isn't it? So I love these decks. I'm looking forward to the new ones that are coming out as well. They're wonderful. I can't wait to have all of them. I'll just have a look at a few final comments and then I'm going to jump off. Can't you take a little motorised scooter up the tour? No, it's steps. There are some bits that are paths, but then the steps. You can't avoid them front or back, no matter how you go. There's steps. Um, the world takes a rest at Samhain, I think. Yeah, I think so. There's that stillness on All Hallows Eve, on Samhain itself. And if we've got, going back to Colour's question about do we really think the veil is at its thinnest, I think the reason why we say that is because there is that stillness. And when there's the stillness, it's like we're fine tuning. And I've always said, if there is a spirit world, it's here. It's not a heaven in the sky. There's no hell in under the earth. It's all around us. But like radio frequencies, we're vibrating energetically in this physical plane. And sometimes if you fine tune like a radio station, you move from different stations, different channels, different realms. And I see it very much like that. And I think at Samhain, with that stillness and taking that time, if we kind of fine tune, and then we're closer, I think, to making connections. I have to climb the tour with knee supports on. I love the night and I love the winter. It's the silence and the absence of bustle that I love. The stillness allows me to think and move, and more importantly, feel without distraction. I couldn't have put it better, Colour. Thank you. Enjoy your trip. I will. Well, the silence corresponds to nature's winter's rest. Yes, yes, absolutely. Simon, have a glorious time in Glastonbury. Looking forward to seeing Sandra and absolutely drunk on mead. Sandra has mead for breakfast. Sandra said to me the other night, when we get there, we'll have to get some mead. I was like, all right, Sandra, calm down. Oh, she's gonna kill me. No, we will have some mead. We have to have some mead. Want to try some ones that I haven't tried before in the Georgian Pilgrim as well. But I think the co-op sells the traditional mead and a Christmassy mead from memory. Simon, as I understand it, the idea of the veil thinning is quite modern, but we might be more open to the connection at this time of year. Callum wants a stair lift to get to the top of the tour. Uh, anyway, when? You remember that, Vanessa? Anyway, I'm gonna hop off because it's nearly past. But it's been lovely to catch up with you. I doubt there'll be any more videos before I go away. So yeah, the next video will probably be either the vlog or depending on what time I get back on the Sunday, I might do a live to show the goodies that inevitably I'll buy, but might not be as much as in previous years. But thank you for being here, everyone. It's been lovely to see you all. Really missed not going live last week. Yeah, and I'll see you soon. Take care, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste, and blessed be.